Wait, I'm doing this before anybody else comes on. Not sure if Chris was going to join us. I just texted him. I'll give him another minute or two.
Who else is on, Jane, since I'm in the car?
Sure, sorry. We have Joyce, Donna Hayes, Ed, and Barbara.
Thank you.
Sure. We'll wait one more minute. Okay, we're gonna call to order at 10:32. Joyce, you got that?
Yes.
So our first order of business is the Board of Finance job description. I'm gonna put up a quick screen share just to show, and apologies, Nancy, but it's the exact one that I sent you that's in the new template. It's really just approving this job description, Ed. So Chris was concerned about getting too specific. Can everybody see my display?
Yes.
Okay. Ed, you remember Chris didn't want it so specific in the software products, so I just backed it off to Microsoft and Google Suite products because those are the platforms we use.
That's fine.
Okay.
One of the things, going back up to the hours of work,
Yeah.
It's saying that they corresponded. I'd like to suggest that it be modified to say that they correspond with the Board of Finance calendar.
Okay.
Because there are times when there's more to be done than others. And also with the annual report, of course, there's a lot more to be done.
Okay.
And also to make it very clear that attendance at meetings is mandatory.
Oh, that's probably pretty important.
Yeah, it would help.
I'm just printing this out to mark the changes. And Nancy, were you okay with the rest of it? Most of it was just putting it in the new template.
No, it's more process, and we can talk about that after we, you get through the job description piece.
Okay. So I will, as soon as I make sure that I have
Me.
any corrections made, I'm gonna make a motion.
Sweetie. Abby?
Do we have somebody else on? Oh, did Chris join? Oh,
Did he
Leah
call
joined.
back?
No, it was Leah who joined. So changing, just updating general work hours correspond with Board of Finance
Okay.
calendar.
It's going. We're getting down 95.
And minimum qualification,
Oh, you're heading home?
I guess hours of work, it would go there. Attendance at Board of Finance meetings mandatory. So I'll make that motion to approve this job description with those changes.
I'll second it.
Great. Any thoughts, comments, Ed?
Nope, looks good. As long as Nancy agrees with it, that's fine with me.
Listen, I can't talk. Your mom's on a conference call.
Yeah, I was
Why
just
you
trying
probably
to
didn't get her.
make this. Oh, I can't do it because I'm screen sharing. There we
Okay.
go.
There you
That's great.
Okay.
Love you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. Did you have anything else, Nancy, that was specific, because it's a special meeting, that was specific to the job description?
Yeah, it was to the process. The process kind of threw me off because the Board of Finance usually has, a look at the candidates and, it's usually a narrowed down list, but it's brought to the board in deference to the Board of Finance, and that they weigh in on it before it goes back to the town. And I would like to see that as part of the process. I understand it's a town employee, and I respect the fact that the Board of Selectmen has to okay it for liability and everything else. But I do believe that the members of the Board of Finance should have some involvement, and I feel that this kind of cut them out, except for me.
So because we're in a special meeting and the agenda item is the job description, can you and I talk offline in the next couple of days, and then we can bring it back at Tuesday's monthly meeting?
That's fine.
Okay. That would be great.
Okay, I'm traveling, as I'm sure you can hear. We're on the road.
Yeah.
So I'll just call you in the office, and we can figure out the process.
Yes, we can discuss it and what the board.
Take it to the board. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Have a good weekend.
Great. Thank you. You too.
The next is the tax collector assistant. Ed, we had gone back and forth about the title, and it in the job description itself, it looks to me like the duties and qualifications are all basically that of an assistant tax collector. Debbie's always talked about it, in the past, from what she said in her emails, as the assistant tax collector. I think it makes sense to just clean it up and change it from tax collector assistant to assistant tax collector.
That's fine.
Okay, so I'll make that motion to change the title of the tax collector assistant job description to assistant tax collector.
I'll second that.
Super. Thank you, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
The last item is treasurer's clerk. And Barbara, Barbara, you're on your, it's just a big blur. Barbara has gone through a couple of clerks in the last, would you say, 10 months or so?
She stepped away from her desk for a moment.
Oh, okay. You hear her down the hallway.
Sorry, everybody. Thought
That's
I had
okay.
time to go to the ladies' room. Clearly, I didn't.
That's all right.
All right, so I just wanted to update everybody on the situation of the staffing in my office. And just to give a general overview, since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, my office has been staffed by myself only. The clerk that I had will not come in because of the fear of any contamination, etc. Since that time, over a year ago, the steps I've taken to address this concern are as follows. In the beginning, in the absence of knowing how long this pandemic was going to go on, I didn't do anything. It was sort of a wait and see, Band-Aid approach, do all the work, see if it can be managed. That didn't really work very well because of the length of time that this has been going on. So the initial process to address the situation was that I set up my clerk with remote access so that some activity could be produced by that position. However, that was less than ideal because that now included additional activity on my side to scan and email documents, to constantly be available for questions when that person was working and I was trying to do other things. So that was less than ideal. And then none of the activity that actually has to happen physically in this office was being performed by that clerk position because they refused to come in. So last September, I notified your board that I had to post the position. I needed to hire someone. The position was posted on Indeed as well as the town website. I got 32 responses to that posting. I contacted 21 of the candidates, actually interviewed 12 of the candidates at that time. The balance of the candidates really weren't qualified. That happens a lot. People apply for jobs that they really don't have any qualifications for. It just happens. Of those 12 interviews, 4 of the candidates were very viable candidates. I offered the job to each one of them, one at a time, and each one declined to take the position for different reasons. Basically, the rate of pay is too low, the number of hours are too low, the position didn't have any path for advancement, and the position didn't offer any benefits. So that still left me in the same position. I had a remote clerk doing some activity and I was trying to manage to do all of the rest. Just because the pandemic came and the town hall got closed, that didn't make the activity in my office any less. If anything, it made it more, especially with the addition of some new grants that have come down the pike, as well as the streetscape project. So in January, I reposted the position. I got far less responses to that posting. I interviewed 3 people. I offered the position to one person as a trial because that person really didn't have the skill set that was needed, but they seemed like they might be a good fit. That person worked for 9 weeks. It's a 10-hour-a-week position. In the 9 weeks, they worked about 65 hours. And currently that person is unavailable to work. The other person who was in the clerk position and doing work remotely is also unavailable for an undetermined amount of time. So now I'm back in the same position, all by myself, trying to do all the work for this office in a part-time job, getting paid part-time. And I'll just put it on the record that there have been nights when I've worked till 9, 10 o'clock at night, because even though I'm not getting paid to do all the work that I'm doing, I still feel responsible that the work needs to get done, and I've been doing my best to get it done. Needless to say, it's not been easy. So my understanding is that your board has adopted a new process for filling of positions. So I'm dumping this in your lap. What's your process? What do you want me to do? So
in order to keep consistent, because that's the whole purpose, we have subcommittees that are charged with the hiring process. I think, Ed, it's perfectly reasonable and logical to assign the same committee that's doing the Board of Finance clerk to this hiring process, and just looking to get your thoughts on that. So it's Nancy Wyrick, the chair of the Board of Finance, Barbara, and myself. You're on mute.
That's fine with me.
Can you please outline the steps of the process for me?
Sure. The department head notifies the Board of Selectmen in writing of a job vacancy. Board of Selectmen shall determine if the town will fill the vacancy, which I think, Ed, you agree, obviously, that it needs to be filled.
Right.
Job description to be reviewed if needed. The Selectmen's office posts the job. The Board of Selectmen appoints this subcommittee, which has already been done. There's a set of interview questions. After the application submission deadline is expired, the subcommittee reviews to narrow to the top 3 to 5 applicants. The interviews are scheduled, interviews are conducted, they're scored based on the questions, and then a final candidate is sent to the Board of Selectmen.
So how long does the position need to be posted for?
I would say, I mean, we've been recommending 2 weeks.
Okay, so when can I expect your office, because you said the Selectman's office posts the position, when will this job get posted?
It'll get posted today. We should be able to do it because the subcommittee is in place. I don't think there's anything else that needs to get done ahead of that.
So the earliest I would have someone in this position is going to be sometime in May. 2 weeks, and then interviews, and then a recommendation.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know it's not optimal. We're just trying to be consistent across the board for all the positions.
Do you need me for anything else? Because I have work I need to do.
I will question, if I can ask one question.
Of course.
Can you send the board your recommendations on, I know it's not on the agenda, we're under the hiring thing, but for the committee and the board, maybe to have your new ideas and recommendations, what the possible pay scale should be and all that, and write it down, and maybe send us each a letter saying why you think you're not getting people to
Sure.
stay in this position.
Absolutely. We'll do that.
Oh, so we kind of know more of what's going on with every office in the town hall would be good. Because
Sure.
since you're there and work in that department every day. How's that sound?
Great. We'll do that. I'll do
John
that
asked a
today.
question in the chat. Can you please tell me when this new policy was adopted? I thought it was going to be reviewed by the department heads before it was formally adopted. We're going ahead with the process as endorsed by the board so that we can start to standardize the processes. It'll go out to you guys today for, we'll do a meeting at some point next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, when everybody's here. But there's just a lot of parallel projects that are happening, and we need to be able to move forward with a standardized, consistent process that's fair for hiring. And we have a lot of openings right now that we've got to move through.
I've been to all of the meetings and I don't remember, or my impression was that Chris left it where it was going to be reviewed by the department heads before it was instituted. Now, all of a sudden, it's been instituted. So I just thought, I guess maybe I missed something. That was not the impression that I had or any of the other department heads. So I'm just putting it out there on the record that I believe that this process has not been formally adopted, and that it was up for review by the department heads. That's all. I don't have anything else to say. It's just very frustrating to have to try to work within this kind of an environment where people keep changing their minds at the whim of the day. I'm sorry, but I don't have anything else to say.
If we don't, we're trying to put in place, we're trying to standardize things and make it consistent, which makes it fair to all the candidates. And I think walking forward with a fair hiring process in good faith is the right thing to do. I mean, Ed, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this.
Well, I think we can bring it up under the policy when we discuss the policy at the next selectmen's meeting. I mean, Chris and I were, I thought, and very clear on this, that we're looking at it. We're not looking at this process to slow it down at all. We're looking at the process so everybody, as far as the selectmen, the hiring committee, and the person or group that is hiring, are all on the same page at all times. That's all. And I'm sorry that people think that we're trying to take over their departments, which isn't it at all. We're just trying to make sure that everyone knows what's going on and everybody is actually that applies, has a fair chance to be hired under the system. That's all. So we'll talk about it Tuesday night's meeting.
Okay, that'll be fine. And then we can have a better conversation because this is
right.
Frustrated.
Do we have, Joyce, do we have any motion on the floor?
No.
Okay. I'm going to make a motion to assign and charge assign the same subcommittee for the treasurer's clerk position as was assigned for the BOF clerk position with the same charge.
That's fine. If you may want to name the name, but I think you already did before, but maybe not in the motion. It'd be Chris Garrity, Nancy, and you, right? I mean, Nancy,
Barbara, Nancy,
and you. I'll second that.
Okay, thanks. Thanks for the clarification. All those in favor?
Aye.
Sorry, didn't mean to catch you there. All right.
That's okay.
That's everything. We'll adjourn at 10:53. You got that, Joyce?
Yes.
Great. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Ed.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.